Guilty or innocent? Innocent. Feed him to the Sharkticons.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at something very, very cool. This is the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Quintesson Judge. And this is a toy that I have wanted for a long, long time. Ever since the 86 movie came out, I have said I have to get a Quintesson. I don't know why. I don't particularly like it, but I just think it's just a cool character. And I am so glad that Hasbro has finally given us a official Quintesson. Now, there have been companies made third-party Quintessons and stuff like that, but this is the one, okay? It has everything you could possibly want out of a Quintesson. Now, for those of you who know the lore, Quintessons have kind of went back and forth, whether being the creators of the Transformers to not, or just being in slavers and stuff like that. But how I'm going to always look at it is the Quintessons are the creators of the Transformers, and this particular one, the Quintesson Judge, is going to be my definitive representation of what a Quintesson is. Now, there are different races of Quintessons and they do different things, but when I think of Quintesson, this is the guy, okay? So let's jump right in. Taking a look at the box, you can see it comes in a Voyager class box, and you have Takara Tomy up here, Transformers Generation symbol, Transformers Hasbro 8+, Transformers Earthrise War for Cybertron Trilogy, Quintesson Judge written in Cybertronese, and you can see the Quintesson there. He's really cool. On the side of the box, you have a very creepy picture of the Quintesson. You see he's Voyager class right down here. On this side of the box, you can see that he is part of the Earthrise. You can see them sitting right there, and then the rest of the Autobots, and then the Ark crashing down to Earth. And it's a Transformers authentic symbol again, Transformers Earthrise or for Cybertron Trilogy there. On the top of the box, you have this neat little symbol, and this is going to be the Quintesson symbol. I think I'll zoom in and check that out. That is really, really freaky, okay? It's like just one face, and just, I don't know. It's different. So then you have Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy here, and then on the bottom you just got some words and barcodes and credits for the box. And then finally, on the back of the box, you can see that he comes in his standard mode, and he has little face gimmicks that switch around, and for some reason they made him transform. I know it's a Transformer, and I don't know, this is just kind of silly, and we'll go over this mode, but I will never have him in this mode. But anyway, some more credits for the box, and then you have Hasbro there. And so anyway, folks, that is the box. No one wants to see this creepy cool guy in the box. I know I don't. So let's get him out and see what he can do. And here we have the Quintesson Judge out of the box. And out of the box, he comes with a nice set of instructions that will help you flip him in from a judge to, I have no idea what his transform is supposed to be. Sort of like a prison tower with a cage. I don't know. Well, we'll take a look at that in just a minute. He also comes with his nice throne of judgment. You can sit in here. We'll take a look at later. And he comes with a nice pistol, so that is pretty neat. And he has the background here, and you have Quintessa sitting there. I don't know if it says Quintessa, but there is some stuff there, and I don't feel like getting the little reader out. We're gonna leave this there because I think it's a cool background. So anyway, that brings us to the Quintesson, and this is really what everybody wants to see, the 5 faces of death guy. Also, out of the box, you had to install this face and this face, and they were kind of difficult to put on, so a lot of people have been saying that this face was the toughest, and I did have to work a little bit on it to get this guy here. And there's no real map of which face goes where, and the faces of these guys have been different depending on what you watch. Like if you watch the movie, they were different. If you watch season 3 of the Transformer cartoon, they were different. And if you watch the Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise series, they were different. But I think what I was able to do is use the Transformers Earthrise cartoon series as a basis, and that's where these faces wanted to go, because you only got to choose where these two went, and the others, only place that would make sense is in the Earthrise series for the placement of the faces. So but that's okay. This is where I will start, and for the most part they each have names for the faces. There were actually two sets of names. One, they did all emotions, but how I grew up with these faces was, this was death, this was war, this was wrath, this was judgment, and finally this was wisdom. So that's how I'm going to talk about them. But if you have a different name for each face, then good for you, and you could do it because it's your toy. But in the review, that's the name of the faces. All right, let's take a closer look at each of these faces. And coming real close in, here we have Death, and he is very vicious. Nice green and some gray with some pale yellow under the black eyes of death. His mouth moves, so roar. Some of these mouths move, some of them don't, and I think that is awesome. Gertie. Ha 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 ha. Alright, so then we will move over to War. And War is kind of neat. He's got this nice sun for a head, some nice orange eyes, kind of slanted there. It looks like he's got a beard. Well, you know, they all look like they have beards, I guess, and these long chins, his mouth. And does his mouth move? Let's see. No, just his head goes up, but that's due to transformations. So a little bit of blue here on the sides, so that is pretty neat. And we'll move over to Wrath. So Wrath was interesting because Wrath was featured primarily in Transformers Earthrise. There's Decius. It was actually named itself Decius after she somehow managed to cut off all the other heads. So not sure how that worked, but hey, this was the primary Quintesson face that you saw if you watched the Netflix Earthrise, and its mouth opens. Rah, ha, 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 rah, rah, rah. So that's neat. So moving on next to Judgment. He's nice, got some green spikes up here with some gray, nice kind of neon green eyes, kind of a solemn face, kind of I don't know, judgmental face. I don't think its mouth opens, so it's one of the few, and so that is pretty neat. And finally we will move over to Wisdom, and Wisdom looks like he's wearing a little turban hat with a point at the top and some green there and some green on the sides, nice bluish turquoise eyes, and his mouth will open. I am wise. Oh. So so there you go. And if you look at the Quintesson, it does have this little spin gimmick here, and if we zoom out so I get a good view of it, so you can hold this and get the little thing going, and it will actually shift on its own. That's just how it works. Alright, so that is the gimmick with that. The rest of the Quintesson is just all gray. Got some nice molded detail here coming down. He is kind of hard to hold on to, but that's all right. Got these little tentacle hands, so there's 5 of them, 1 2 3 4 5, and they are bendy, so you can do a lot of cool stuff with them if you were so inclined. And he does come with this stand, which I just kind of pulled him off of, and to get this to work, you'll just push down on this little lever here, and that will kind of get the clamp ready to go up in there, and so you can put it in, so and then let the clamp go, and There you go. He is all set to be on his little clamp. The only thing about this I don't particularly care for, or that I wish they would have been different, is I wish they would have colored it pink or something so it would kind of have an energy feel to it. But anyway, that is what your Quintesson looks like in all of his five-faced glory. Alright, moving on. And for your first accessory, he has his little pistol. Now, the pistol's done in just gray plastic, and there's not really a lot of detail into it. In fact, it is kind of gappy with a lot of holes in there, but you know, you get the idea that it's a pistol. So, and what you'll do with this is you'll bring in your Quintesson, and on each of these little tentacles, he has a little peg sticking out here, and that will just peg into the little hole in the handle of the gun. So like such. It may not be the best fit, but it can go in there, and that's basically how he can hold his gun. So it's, yeah, not the greatest thing in the world, but really he's not supposed to have a gun. He has Sharkticons to protect him. But anyway, there you go. It fits there. It's kind of nice, but I don't think I'll be using it. Alright, moving on. And for his next accessory, he comes with this green chair. And there's not really much to it. It's basically green plastic. There's a lot of detail in the sides, which is good. And there's a little bit of detail here in the back and some ports where he will port into. And these two are clamps for his transform. We'll get into that in just a little bit later, but anyway, there you go. It's green chair, not too great. You can peg the gun into the bottom for weapon storage if you're so inclined to do that, but so I think we'll do that because I don't really need that gun. So now what you do to have him sit on it, it's very simple. So bring him out, and you can see his base here, and if you look on the bottom of his base, let me get that focused in. It's going to be really hard because they made this clear, but there are little holes here and here, and they will just port into these little tabs on the chair. So what you'll want to do is, whichever way you want them to face, you want to use the one closest. So you'll put that and tab that right down like such. And there he is on his chair. We'll zoom out a little bit so you can see. Guilty. So it's okay. It's a chair. I don't think I'll use it, but you know, they wanted to do something to make this guy Voyager price. So anyway, moving on. And full comparison, here the Quintesson Judges with Hot Rod and Cup, two of the bots that he judged unfairly, I might add. So you can see he is really large compared to them, and I think the size fits, I guess, for Voyager, even though Hot Rod is a Voyager and Cup is a Deluxe. But you know, size is relative when it comes to these guys, I've learned. Alright, moving on. And full transformation. Now this, again, I think is ridiculous, but they made it transform, so we're going to review it transforming. Alright, it basically turns into some sort of little security tower with a jail cell. And what we're going to do first is take him apart. We're going to take his little foot thing off, put that to the side, and now we're going to take his brain out, pull that out, put him down. This will come apart. There you have your little jail cell, and it opens, which is pretty neat. So you can actually put some little bots in there if you have them. We'll show that off in a minute. And then you have his brain stem here. And basically what you're going to do with this is you're going to connect the little piece here, and there's those two tabs I said you can't really see on the bottom here, and you're going to plug them into the top there, and we're going to set that off to the side. So there you go, you got a little piece there. Now on the main Quintesson body, what we're going to do is just lift the heads up. So make sure the mouse are up and then the heads will go all the way up, like so. Yep. And one more. All right. Once you move the heads up, you reveal these other panels, and these panels right here are going to come down. All right. So that's one. And this one, they're on a hinge, so, you know, it's okay. You can kind of put them straight out or down. They actually want you to put these side ones all the way down, like such, and leave the one under the death face. See, death? Leave this one open because this is kind of a ramp and you can actually have room to put somebody in there. So anyway, bring out the others. Bring them down. Down, down, down. And higher. Oh, sorry. That's a little Johnny Cash. Anyway, okay. Got that. Alright. So now move these little tentacles up between the doors. Like such. Okay. So now, there you go. It's down. And from here, we want to take the chair. The chair will also transform, and we will break off the sides and then bring the back down so that it looks all flat. Okay, so at this point, you're going to look for the hinge here, and this will connect to the little death door. I call it death door because, you know, it's behind the death face. That's why that is. And that will connect right here. Let's see if we can get that on there without much trouble. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now you have this little tower going on, and then you have this little base. Oh, what's going on? Oh, you need to take the gun off. Sorry. All right, so, well, the gun actually plays a part. What the instructions tell you to do with this gun is put it here on top of the cell, and you can have it like that and just set the cell here. That is stupid. Of course, this whole thing is stupid, but why that is stupid is if you take the gun out, just throw it off to the side, you have these two, you could peg the cell into this port here, and it's not going to go anywhere, and you have the cage right there, and that's good. If not, and you do what the instructions say, then you're just going to have to sit the cell right there, and it's going to flop around. So don't do that. Take the gun off, put the cell on one of these little pegs so it is stationary, and that's cooler. All right, and as for this part, what you're going to do, it fell off, so make sure you get this stuck back in. And this is just going to sit right here. It doesn't peg in, it just sits right there. And there you go. Now, if you really want to, you can use the gun. You can plug it into his little tentacles. Actually, you know what? I don't even think this is a gun now that I think about it. I think this is the welding thing that they used in Return of Optimus Prime to bring Optimus back. Because I never saw a Quintesson hold a gun, but I did see him hold that when Skylynx was talking to him about fixing Optimus. So, alright, there. Well, screw it. It's not going to go in there. Anyway, there you go. That is your transform. That is your little, I don't know, tower, jail cell kind of thing. And I think it's useless. You don't need it. I don't think they needed to give the Quintesson a transform, but they did because it's a transformer and it has to transform, which is stupid. But anyway, bringing in these little guys that I finally found, you can open up this cage here. Let's see, and it opens, and you can shove him in there. Get in there. Oh no, please, guilty. And then there you are. You have a prisoner. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, this little guy, he can go in here. Yeah, go in. Well, maybe it's because he's got big shoulders. I don't know his company, but yeah, take him out. Let's get this little guy out of the cage. Get out of there. And you can fall down in here. All right, maybe you can't because he's got big backpack, but some of these don't have big backpacks and you can get them in there, I promise. So in the meantime, you can just lock him up. And that is the transform for this guy. I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. It seems kind of weird and unnecessary, so I don't know. It's just what they wanted to do with it. It's a thing. Moving on. And this has been the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Earthrise Quintesson Judge. And like I said at the very beginning of the video, I've wanted one of these for a long time, and I am very grateful and happy that Hasbro thought to include one of these in the War for Cybertron trilogy. And he is just awesome. He looks exactly like he's supposed to. All 5 faces, very much like the cartoon, very much what I was looking for, and he is just great. I love the little spinner gimmick when you have him on the side here. I know it's kind of hard to do when he's sitting in his chair, but there you go. That's cool. And this is great. And this is the guy. This is the face I'm always going to think of when I think of Quintesson. So, couple things I think they could have improved on with this guy. He didn't need to transform. I think they wasted a lot of engineering trying to get him to turn into a little PlayStation, jail tower, whatever it was. And I think if they would have spent more time on the sculpt and design, he would have been even better. The faces are great. I don't see why you couldn't have them all open their mouths. I think just 2 of them didn't, but still, that was a wasted opportunity there. I didn't like that this was clear. I could have used some color there, pink maybe, but all in all, it was still a good figure, and I'm happy to have him. Voyager class scale, again, like I said in the comparison, it's just gonna be what they feel like doing, I guess. And if you're looking for this guy, you might be able to find him on Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy Store. I didn't find this guy in stores. I looked and looked and looked, but whenever his wave came out, they must have just all been scooped up immediately because, yeah, he was never on the shelf. So you can buy him online. He'll probably range about $30, $35, somewhere like that, depending on where you get him. So if you're looking for this guy, happy hunting, and that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a good night, and until next time, keep playing.
Guilty or innocent,